everyone. I hope you all are fine. As every week we discuss some movies in our Sipping Thoughts movie club. This week we are discussing Dil Dhadakne, which is streaming on Netflix. It's a 2015 movie and recently इसको बहुत ज़्यादा like ऐसा hype वगैरह मिला और सबको like बहुत पसंद भी है. So we thought why not, let's just discuss it, and it's very light-hearted movie. So ऐसा dark कुछ नहीं है जैसे हमने last time discuss करा था. So we'll just start with the feedbacks and reviews about this. So Rohit, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Your thoughts and opinions on it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ashita, for inviting me out. I really love this movie because the best thing about this movie is as you were discussing earlier about first world, second world problems, things like that. Also, it's like वो ऊपरी स्तर पे जिंदगी सब खुशहाल और खुशल मंगल लगती है, and then when you probe into it, when you really ask people and how your life is, then you come to know the problems and trials and tribulation that we all go through, because most of the times we just look at people and judge people जो हमारा all these earlier concepts था, and then what will people say and what people are saying, and we are those people in this prospect of looking at them and saying अरे यार तुम्हारा तो private jet है, तुम्हारे तो yacht है, तुम्हारे मजे है जिंदगी में. But then you come to know कि what all are the problems that we face. I mean, I love today's discussion will be all based on this. Later, after we talk about the film and all, I would like to point out some scenes which I really loved, and we could then discuss about that as well.
We're really looking forward for it. Damini ma'am, you're here
Yes.
after a long time. So what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah. So as Rohit said, yes, that was my exact thought. First time when we got to know about this movie, we thought it will be a typical Zoya Akhtar, like big sets, big, rich people, yeah, celebrating anniversary on yacht and everything, on a cruise and everything. What substantial will they ever be able to bring out? But as they say, never judge a book by its cover, and that's what it felt true to this one for me, because there were a lot of small things, and that makes you realize, why is my problem not a problem? Just because if I have a problem, it's genuine enough. Even if I'm privileged, or even if privileged people have a problem, why is it not a genuine enough problem to be addressed? And they are suffering from same things, whether no matter what class it is or what how well off you are. Those typical things related to the society or the patriarchal concepts or anything, ideas of feminism and all, कि भैया बेटा ही business चलाएगा, ठीक है, चाहे बेटी जितनी मर्जी लायक हो, बेटे को interest ना हो, and then if the daughter-in-law is working, तो उस पे questions always कि भैया घर तो संभालना ही है, बच्चे भी करने ही है, फिर चाहे तुम्हें करना हो ना करना अपना business वो तुम्हारे ऊपर, and all these tough things. So that's what it came to my mind, when I was watching it, and it's something that you can definitely rewatch, and the problems still feel same after 5 years. That's what it is.
Yeah. I always love your thoughts and opinions. They're so different. I never thought this way. Also, before moving ahead, I would like to tell everyone that this is an open discussion. Everybody can unmute their mic and say whatever you want to, as we go about every time. Neeta Bangaji, as usual.
Hi everyone. Hi. So yeah, it was a fun movie, and I watched it for the second time, and maybe third time, because we saw it before earlier also, and always loved it. So it's a fun movie. That's why you can watch it again and again. And as Rohit said, the scenes which you really can't forget, and you can you think about it. When the first scene was when what was her name? Our favorite actress, the lady of the house. She eats the cake when she really under the depression, when she's eating the cake in the bathroom and, watching herself eating and crying. And that was the scene when you are sweets really can solace you, you can मीठा आप खा लोगे तो थोड़ा आपको ठीक लगता है कि हाँ मैं रो लूँ मैं खा लूँ. And the second scene was when Ranveer Singh is always my favorite, in this movie, because his character was very naive and very bhola bhala, mummy ka beta, and it was usko jaise banaya, jaise dikhaya hai, ekdam seedha sa, कि it's like, you know, जो family का एक चिराग है उसको बिल्कुल संभाल के रखा है, and his खिलौना was like a plane, you know, not the cars, not the motorcycle, what, you know, people like crave for, but he wanted a plane and, you know, jet, he wanted to fly, and उसका वो ही main motive था to live in life, you know. So that was very nice and very sweet. And पूरी मूवी में उसकी जिस तरह से उसके हेयर स्टाइल एंड उसकी चाल एंड उसकी वॉक, यू नो, ऑल दिस थिंग्स वर लाइक मेकिंग हिम रियली लाइक भोला भाला सा सीधा सा बंदा. और बट जब लास्ट में when he just talks to his parents that no, I want to marry this girl, and you know, you all are like faking your happiness, you know, and your life. So yeah, so I loved it. I loved his character, and you can get so many things from him. Yeah. Thank you.
We have Ritu Bhagat here. Would you like to add anything to it?
Hi everyone. Actually, I'm the person who doesn't watch movies, but few I do watch. I'm more interested in reading the film reviews and film autobiographies, and really love your program because that I enjoy. Programs based on movies. So, but first time I just watched it casually. The reason for watching it first time was I have a WhatsApp group. Kiran ji, who is your member also of Film Club, she is also the member of that WhatsApp group. So almost the society which was shown in Dil Dhadakne, though, they belong to such sort of society. And one of the lady, she praised this movie so much to such great extent that one should definitely watch it. So, and then suddenly almost everybody was praising it so much that it should not be missed, it should be watched. Our girls, it has shown how the girls should be in at the present age, and how the property should be divided among the girls and the boys, maybe among the right word, among the children. So I watched it, but then in bits and pieces. Yesterday I watched it and I could understand it yesterday. So what is it? But then I was finding this character, Rahul, Priyanka Chopra's husband's name. Which character is it?
Manav.
No, actual name.
Rahul Bose.
Rahul Bose, yeah. That a person I could not understand. Once when Priyanka says that I want to take divorce, he is just, he knows it. इतनी सी बात पे divorce लेना है. Then he starts weeping and he goes away. And in the very contradictory thing, then he shows his power also. And the other side, he is saying, Meri permission. So that person was, I could not understand. Other characters I could understand.
Can I add, please? Can I say something?
Go ahead.
So I'm Sonia Gupta, Pleasure Damini and Harshita. I think this movie, as Rohit had mentioned earlier, has a lot of layers to it. One is a social layer where it is a high upper class society family where everything has to be very, very sparklingly, brilliantly perfect. You know, it should actually, it is spectacularly perfect, you know, a handsome man who owns an empire, and the empire is like a ship which is sinking, which they are trying to hide from everybody, wanting to save it by virtue of a marriage, a kind of a business proposition in terms of a marriage of their husband, of their son to another, a business tycoon. And the wife being a typical upper class wife who knows the wives of her strata, but as very well put by Neeta ji, going through her phases of depression and pain when she sees her husband for what he is. You know, how he behaves with the fairer sex, how he has his trips to enjoy sex and come back. And so there is this layer of sexism where the man is, so to speak, the head of the family. And what really proves his identity is his success at work. He is always, he is proving his mark of success as his business. Am I correct? Does everybody agree with me? That is his way of telling that people and society that he has arrived. The wife, on the other hand, is trying to keep a front of normalcy in the family, in spite of her depression, in spite of knowing her husband's gimmicks. And she wants the family to survive. She wants the family to survive irrespective of all these. And therefore, her only vent of love is towards Ranveer, which I think is excessive, you know. To some extent, she can't pull him up and say, man, get your act together. Enough is enough. The third thing I want to mention about Priyanka, unfortunately, a woman trapped in a loveless marriage, although she mentions to her mother that she wants a divorce, but just as the mother is entangled in a loveless marriage, she can't help her daughter find a solution in a loveless marriage. That is the state of women in Indian society. You know,
most of the marriages,
they know what is happening with them. They know what their husbands are doing, but they continue for the sake of the family happiness. And so she's kind of, you know, she's doing the same with her daughter. Listen, there is no way out. Just continue. Everything is good. Your husband is earning money. You belong to a respectable status society, a respectable family. You're looked after. You're eating well. You travel in the best of circles. So everything is sorted. Personal happiness under the bed. Good sex life under the bed. Good, everything else is shoved under the bed. Right?
Yeah.
As long as you're eating well, as long as you're looking fine, as long as you're traveling well-heeled, everything else is under the bed. It is shuffled under the carpet. Kuch mat bolo. Sab kuch badhiya hai. Carry on. You know?
Carry on, adjust.
Carry on, adjust, tolerate.
Adjust,
and
tolerate.
last but not the least, keep smiling. Keep smiling. You know, tell the world that you have a perfect family. Everything is going perfectly for you. Oh my God. People should feel envious of you, isn't it? For this 30th anniversary drama on the yacht, right? And this is actually a drama because the wife is not happy in her marriage and the husband is doing this to prove a point to the society that, look, I have arrived and irrespective of the rumors about my business, I'm doing well. So this is, for me, it is again one farce regarding the business and the family front, and in the prospect looking for a good match for their son to keep the business afloat. So these layers are coming through and through. However, there is love. There is love between everybody, but everybody has their kind of selfish love. You know what I mean? It's not that the husband doesn't love his wife, but he needs his trips out. You know, he wants to enjoy himself and come back and be the good husband again. You know, so
he needs his outings.
His outings, yeah. So it's not that he doesn't love her, but it's. I think everybody is professing love, but in a selfish way. मैं ये सब तो करूँगा, but I love you. What is happening with the other person is not his problem. How she is adjusting is not his problem. You have the money, you have the status, you have the house, you have no reason to complain, right? So this is my take on the film. So please carry on. Yeah.
Yeah. What I want to say is that am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Okay. Just 2 points to make. First is that this is one of those rare movies where you'll find it very difficult to choose who's the best.
Right.
Be it Priyanka Chopra, be it Ranveer Singh, Farhan Akhtar, Shefali Chaya, even the minor characters, Manoj Pava, Parveet Sethi, every one of them, they are just fitting like a T. But above all said and done, it's Anil Kapoor's movie. The way he acts, the way he performs, and the best scene is when Ranveer Singh goes to him and in a typical Punjabi way, Anil Kapoor says, aircraft or whatever,
Plane चाहिए कि नहीं? Plane चाहिए कि
Plane
नहीं?
चाहिए कि नहीं?
yeah.
Plane
So
चाहिए
he
कि
says
नहीं?
it. He
Plane
says it
चाहिए कि
with
नहीं तुमको?
plane चाहिए
चाहिए
कि
कि
नहीं?
नहीं? शादी कर.
With that typical Punjabi accent. Plane चाहिए कि नहीं? That was icing on the cake. Second point is the music. Music was different, exceptional, and the party song. Today,
Galla Gudia.
Gala Gudia. In every marriage,
Yes.
in every party, in every disco, you'll find this song. The beat is so infectious, you can't resist and go about going to the dance floor. All said and done, an excellent movie. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your opinions on this movie, Anupanji. We have Smita Oja here. Smita ji.
Hello friends, how are you?
Yeah, good.
I had seen this, yeah, just surviving, yeah. I had seen this movie earlier and I had a recap and fast forwarded and saw it again. I didn't realize it was close to, I think, a 3-hour movie, but the way it's narrated, you don't realize that it's so long. It was a sweet movie, yes, no doubt about it, but I think it was very thought-provoking. There were so many, issues which were expressed, which were handled, and in such a sweet manner. The best part for me, it was Priyanka Chopra all through, the way she acted. And of course, Anil Kapoor is a seasoned actor. But if I can put the dog, I don't know, I forgot his name. He was the Sutradhar of the movie. So that was the best part I liked, because if you notice, the dialogues, the things that he's saying, such deep emotions, such, hypocrisy, stereotypical things that, we humans do it so naturally.
Like
We don't even
the
realize we are
mother,
doing
it's
it.
not happy. She knows
So
her
it
husband is
was
not like loyal with all
beautifully
those
expressed.
things, but she's staying in the marriage.
Somebody saying something like that. So yeah, it was a very nice movie. Not a fun movie, I would say, because it was, you can say it was a satire on the society and on human beings, how we are. It's just that it was put very plainly and simply. You don't realize that, they're talking about women issues, or they are talking about how parents use their children to further the interests of their businesses. But for me, the best scene was when Farhan Akhtar is, saying that the state of women is not good, and he says, "I allowed her to work." So that, it really hit the nail, and he said, "Yeah, you said what I was wanting to prove." So that was like a slap on the face. So very beautiful movie, and too many good scenes. Difficult to put 3-hour thing together, but overall very nice. I loved it.
Shakun ke Matre ji.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to say something. I had seen the movie before, and I'm watching it, and this time I have only completed half the movie, but I know exactly what you all are saying. But I was just wondering that I, being a little older than all of you, I agree with you, because I myself was brought up in Europe. And I said, absolutely, I will marry for love. But then I finally ended up having an arranged marriage, and it worked well. But what I'm saying is that, could I be the devil's advocate here? Even though I may not agree necessarily in the devil advocate thing. I mean, I could talk like an old woman, with you all, if you allow me.
We would love it.
You'd like it? Okay. But it's not necessarily.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I haven't seen the whole film, but I get the point, and I know exactly more or less what's going to happen. But what I would like to say, okay, now I'm the old woman speaking to the youngsters, all right? Do love marriages always work? You think you can manage to live for love alone, but you have been used to so much. Are you going to be able to handle it, my dear? Think about it, and then see how many marriages have broken because they haven't been able to handle it. So love lasts for a while, no doubt, but my dear girl, remember that you've been brought up with a silver spoon in your mouth. And also, another thing like to say tongue in cheek, which has been said, since most marriages you are you have a little suffering, so a lot of people say, let me marry rich, let me suffer in comfort. You may have heard that joke. So I don't know, I mean, no, in my mind, of course, as I said, I know I'm in fact writing a book about myself, about in this kind of concept, kind of this. So, but I can understand both generations. So yeah, so that's the devil's advocate. Unless you give me some thought for coming against you, in another.
I do that always. I always do that. I always show the other side of the coin.
Yeah, that's the devil's advocate. You see, I mean, you say hello, think about it. It's not that simple. It's
I
very
would like to say,
celluloid.
on a lighter note, nowadays,
Yeah.
love marriage is marrying your own girlfriend, and arranged marriage is marrying someone else's girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not joking. I mean,
Very well
is
put.
true.
Very well put. I appreciate what he said.
But then my question is, see, when you ask me, I'll tell you what, I had an arranged marriage and mine worked well, but I encouraged my children to marry for love. I did. And all three married for love eventually, but they were lucky. They found a good partner, so that's fine. But what I'm trying to say is that when I encourage my children to have a love marriage, my peers would say, why? I mean, why? Why can't you find them? I said, and he said, do you guarantee that a love marriage will always work? And I said, no, I don't guarantee that a love marriage will always work, but I know that they will not blame me for their unhappiness. I brought them up, let them take responsibility for what they are standing for, and then they will not say, Mom, I tell them, like I know my daughter when she fell in love and she was very young. And I said, look, I won't come against you, but give it a little time. Give it a little time. Let him be a little. And true enough, they both gave a little time. They settled down. And all of them have been, I mean, I'm sure they have their ups and downs, but they're okay.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's very interesting because when you said, someone asked you, can you guarantee that love marriage would work? The better response would have been, can you guarantee that an arranged marriage would have worked as well?
And also,
It doesn't. I think it's more about the couples and the kind of partner that you find
Exactly.
and everything rather than being about love or arrangement. Because I'm sure that every one of us has seen somewhere or around us, whether it's love marriage or arranged marriage, equal, success failure ratio, and it always depends on the couple, on the
So true.
partners and everything.
So
Yeah.
true. I agree with that, Damini. Yeah.
Sorry, but I would say, what is success and what is failure? It's again a scale.
Yeah.
It's again a
It
scale.
depends. I think for some people, like in this movie, success for Anil Kapoor was only money.
Yeah.
And success for Priyanka Chopra was making my own identity, and money will come along.
So that's what I'm
And
saying.
valuing relationships. So for everybody, success is different.
The definition is very different.
And I think love or arranged marriage, you should know the reasons why you're marrying. If you're marrying a person, he'll give me, big car, foreign holidays. That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
That marriage will be just like this marriage. Just social life versus real life kind of a marriage. So I mean, it's a very big topic to discuss what works, what doesn't work. But in context of this movie, I think everybody had a different, definition of success. Like Ranveer Singh Kabir had a totally different. He was very passionate. He was very, what do I say? Very sweet, and big problems. He used to handle it so lightly. The scene where he says, "What will happen after when you say that you want to break off this engagement?" The way he's imagining that he will weep and he'll say, I fell in love with her. That was really cute. Making, if you think that a big problem make little fun, I think it doesn't remain that big. So his idea of handling life situations was very different.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, I would like to ask a question to everybody here. We talk about successful marriages and unsuccessful marriages. So, what do you think would have been the conditions if Neelam would have approached her husband and talked all things out that you are going to the trips with somebody else? So, do you think कि वो उसकी बात मान लेता or he would have continued doing same things? What are your thoughts on it?
I think for her the problem was that she had given him liberty since day one. And she never questioned him. And I think she was just like, like a trophy wife for him. So he never actually valued her opinions, the way she looks, what she wants in life. So in such a marriage, if after 20 years you say, stop this and I want your love, I want your attention, that doesn't make sense. If you have to, make the other person, the other partner value you, you have to take a stand right from the beginning. You just can't one fine day after 30 years wake up and say, okay, why are you flirting? She knew all along that you were doing that. So she should have taken a stand long back. That's why Priyanka Chopra asked him, why didn't you divorce him? That means the children also felt that they didn't have a good communication and they didn't have much love. And probably they began with a lot of love in the marriage, but slowly the priorities change, or I don't know what. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
Shall I go ahead? Sorry.
Yeah.
You see, also it's what you want. Now, if there are, let's say, a woman who has been insecure before marriage, let's say, I mean, she may come from a good family and she knows, but maybe, she lived on a budget and she suddenly, her criteria is that she wants to have everything financially whenever for herself, for her children. She will forgive a lot of trespasses. Now, whereas a girl who has been brought up, this is the whole thing. If a girl has been brought up rich, sometimes she's got the notion that she can adjust to anyone as long as she gets love. And a woman who is insecure will say, no, it doesn't work like that. So I think it personally belongs to what you value in life and what you are willing to give in or give up for that value being fulfilled. This is my view.
Yeah, in my opinion, it was like for Anil Kapoor, it was the success and the money was sitting on his head.
सेशन चल रहा है यार.
Sorry. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So the success and the money was sitting on Anil Kapoor's head, and then it was like one night stand. Whenever he was going out abroad, it was like one night stand. So he became very habitual of that. And the wife knew that he will always come back to me because of the, people around us, because of the family, because of the children. And she cling on to him just for the children, for the sake of children. That मेरे बच्चों को मुझे बड़ा करना है, तो इसी family में, इसी success, इसी money के साथ मुझे अच्छे से उनको बड़ा करना है. And the third thing was, she knew that he is always coming back to her, and they were trying to make love always, but it was dying off slowly. When she was getting ready for the 30th wedding anniversary also, she was thinking that मैंने इतनी सुंदर से साड़ी पहनी है, and they both were in dressing room, and she was thinking कि अभी मुझे praise करेगा मेरा husband, you are looking beautiful, you are looking pretty, but he doesn't look at her. And then at night also, when he tries to make advances towards her, and then she said, क्या आप acting कर रहे हो? आज भी acting करना, अभी तो कोई भी नहीं देख रहा है, तो acting मत करो, तो why are you coming to me? And then he goes and sleep on the sofa.
Correct.
So both sides were like, they were trying, but it was a love marriage. It was a love marriage, but because of his advances, his one night stands in abroad, like everything was fading away, and the love went away. So they were like trying to just stay together, just to sake of children's upbringing and children के अच्छे welfare के लिए वो लोग, they were like together. And public को भी दिखाना है कि भाई लोग क्या कहेंगे, तो उसके लिए भी साथ में रहना जरूरी है.
Criteria. See, again, if that woman, I don't know, but if in her childhood she has been insecure because her parents separated, that woman will try every respect to keep the marriage together for the sake of her children.
Absolutely.
Again, another criteria, you see.
Can I add something here? Something?
Yes.
So I think it's not about the insecurity before marriage, but seeing the way the Indian society is, a lot of sacrifice is made for the children.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's not about her insecurities. At the end of the day, it is her, what I feel is her sacrifice for the children. Because you feel that, you need to do your best for them. and you need to have them grow up to be capable and standing on their own feet and doing and earning for themselves. And if it requires you to make a farce of a happy marriage because the children would want it for their emotional and psychological well-being, then you do it.
Correct.
I
Absolutely.
think in this movie, even that objective.
Because the children want the satisfaction, the emotional satisfaction of seeing a happy father and a happy mother together, then you do it for the sake of the children, for the peace in the family, because you want them to grow up sorted.
Correct.
It's not her insecurity. I would call it her sacrifice.
But having said that, what are the chances of a woman in her, let's say, late 50s,
Mhm.
50s, finding another partner? In the society,
Very rare in India. Very rare in India.
another thing. Now, when you're looking at grown-up children, what are the chances? I mean, maybe when you are in your 30s, maybe when you are maybe early 40s, maybe. But if you have a child, very difficult.
I agree.
So the question of
I would like to.
the
Yeah,
question
please go ahead.
of happiness again is very,
I
very.
would-
Yeah, sorry.
It's difficult, isn't it? Society, the Indian society, it's completely, I agree with you, ma'am.
Correct.
It's like, and the concept of this, what do you call this, one night stand? And I mean, it's happening here in India. I'm not saying it's not happening, but for the example somebody gave about what's happening in the West and that story and all that, for the sake of the children and all these things. Of course, when a child comes up, then they definitely, we think they have to get married, right? But some of them, they don't get married. Some of them, they do get married. It's up to them, It's like, matlab, society both crazy tha, I feel. The concept, nowadays we get to hear.
Yeah.
We get to hear, yeah. I mean, we think, what's this? I mean, to exactly think, and we have a lot of questions to that.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
May I just say something?
sometimes we think it's okay. Sometimes we think a lot, and then we have a lot of questions to it. Because our culture. I mean, it's happening here. I'm not saying it's not happening here in India, but it's all taken from the West, right? Everything is copied from the West.
True, true.
Yeah.
But
So this film I've seen before. It's a fun film.
Yeah.
I don't mind seeing it again. Crazy things happening, and Priyanka and all of them, Anushka.
You were saying.
Yeah, I've seen it twice because I kind of enjoyed, and I was just moving in with the flow of the story, and it's a perfect. Today, it's a nice movie you all have picked out. Something to remember, Yeah, but certain things that happen and all, we think now of, all these things are happening, like, I mean, then it was a movie and things like that, and in and out story, in and out from each room, and all of them on the ship. I mean, good stars there. Good, yeah, I remember clearly this movie, and I saw it the second time just to, relive the story and everything else in the movie, and which is what's happening now, right? Some of it.
Sweta had a point. She was saying.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I was saying that we were discussing that probably parents just for the. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I was saying that we were just talking about parents just for the sake of the happiness of the children sacrifice. But in this movie, even that objective was not being achieved because none of the children were happy. The son was not happy because he was not able to achieve. His father was overshadowing him even in the business. The daughter, despite having achieved so much, was not happy because nobody was listening to her. She was a daughter who's married off, and she should not fall back on the family, which is very ridiculous. So in the context of this particular movie, even that notion that, for my children, I'm doing it, it was not working, sadly.
Yeah,
But they were happy actually. They were eating ice cream together in the night, sitting and having fun, dancing around. And otherwise, as a family, I think it was a nice, sweet, happy family. Otherwise,
really jolly. Yeah.
If you take out the
Rohit, you want to say something? Rohit was wanting to add something. Yeah, Rohit?
Yeah,
We missed out. Yeah.
I just had a question for. We'll go to Sandhya ji also. She's not come into the.
Sandhya ji, yes, please. I'm waiting for Sandhya.
Right. I had a question for all of us before we go ahead. I think it's a general perspective that most of us hate Mr. Rahul Bose's character, what was portrayed, and how he behaved and everything. One of the questions that I would like to ask everyone after this is as well. His father was not into the picture, right? But would he have changed himself or his personality be more kind and जैसे कि I'll allow my wife to have already allowed her, that concept of patriarchal is so embedded that and even the body language of Rahul Bose is so strict and so masculine, there's a certain way that a man should and a man will behave. So I think men are not supposed to cry, men are not supposed to do this. So when you see the patriarchal also, that you become so hollow that's why most men die of heart attacks eventually, because they are not able to liberate themselves and understand a fellow human which is living, which is their wife, which is their girlfriend, whatever, for the umpteen amounts of years, forever maybe, because you have been told to match up to that certain standard. And from earlier maybe it was father being with him to becoming a picture in his wallpaper and phone, whatever it is, but that thought never changes. And it's only when you come down to the generation of Priyanka and then Priyanka's sister, whatever it is, that people are like, chilled out and we do whatever we want to do. We are not dependent on anybody. So this is the thing. Yes, Sanya ji, please. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. I saw the movie long time back. I was just trying to see the movie, but I couldn't see the whole thing. For me, one thing that I think is that financial independence was not there with Shefali. So that was one of the reasons that she was in that situation. And
agree to that completely.
Had she been financially independent, maybe the situation would be different, which is today's society. आज की लड़कियां सभी financially independent है, so they do not take any shit from anybody, from their husband or anything. But in our generation, like Shefali Chaya was like our generation, I would say, since we were not financially independent, we had to bear with so many things, or of course for the children also. But इस situation में the children were also not happy. वो दिन भर अपने parents को झगड़ते हुए देख रहे थे. In the dining table they are sitting, they are fighting for something. So they were not seeing that, they were not having a happy marriage as such. But since she was not financially independent, she was bearing everything and she was taking all the shit. That's
but I think Priyanka Chopra was financially independent. Still, she couldn't get out of a bad marriage.
Exactly. Sandhya ji, I would like to ask you.
No, she didn't have a parent support. Actually, वो शेफाली चाय का mindset तो वही था ना. She didn't have a parent support. उसको parents की support चाहिए थी वहाँ पे, which she was not getting. Had she had that support, she would have been able to come out of the situation.
Agree with Sandhya. She had a mother. She looked for her mother's support. Yeah, she asked her mother,
yes.
And the mother said no. Continue. ऐसा ही होता है. सब शादियों में ऐसा ही चलता है.
But ultimately, she goes ahead without anybody's support.
Let's all wish Sonia Gupta, today is her birthday. Should we all wish happy birthday?
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much, Sandhya.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks. Love you all.
Wonderful. So we need a cake. We need a cake right now to blow it.
Virtual cake.
Thank you, Aarti. So next time, whenever we're doing anything, we'll have a cake for the person whose birthday it is, and we'll cut
Cake
it.
Cake is a must.
Done. I think Sandhya is so right over here. Our generation never had economic independence, so we just kept shoving a lot of things under the carpet, because without financial independence, you would not have the guts to go out, you step out of the house and say, okay, bye, I'm done with it. Right? So I think that then once you have kids, there is a responsibility. And the third thing is, by the time you're in your mid-50s, you have reached a stature in society which is very difficult to break off. People are associating you in a certain way. They're looking at you in a certain perspective. You need a lot of courage to break it all off and say, okay, bye, I'm done with it. I think that must have been Shefali Shah's dilemma. That could have been her dilemma. Let's give her that benefit of doubt. That's the way I would look at it.
Very true. It's very true.
Rohit, to your question about Manav, I don't, it's my personal opinion, that I don't hate him. I just feel very sorry for him because he wanted her to be happy and he just didn't have the mindset or the thinking to understand why she's unhappy. So it's not that I hate him because he's not a feminist, but I feel so sorry for him, that poor thing, he can't even understand what's wrong in his marriage. And when she comes out in the open and everybody is just staring at Priyanka Chopra, it's so difficult for her to explain. And such ridiculous things they are talking. Baby ho jayega to sab theek ho jayega. What solution is that? And believe you me, I know people who have given this solution in my family. That लड़का अगर कमा नहीं रहा, उसकी शादी कर दो, कमाने लगेगा, और अगर कमाने नहीं लगा और प्रॉब्लम हो रही है मैरिज में, बच्चा कर दो, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. And finally they divorce. So this is a mindset that's been going on for years and years and years. So it's not that middle class, upper middle class, everywhere it's the same mindset.
I feel that's how the women are conditioned from a long time, that I'll take everything that is going on with me and I'll teach my daughter also.
Yes.
Priyanka was independent. She could have easily come back because Shefali said कि मेरे पास तो कोई जाने को नहीं था, लेकिन प्रियंका के पास था, but still
she still didn't go.
Shefali was not supportive. I feel she could have supported her. जो मेरे साथ वो at least वो आगे तो ना करूँ, but that's like the conditioning and all. Also, this point I remember that Shefali said that I supported you when Anil was like, मैंने ये किया, मैंने वो किया. So she said I supported you. But that is where we realize that कभी भी like wives की जो like एक support होता है, that is not acknowledged. So what is your take on it, Smita ji?
See, I think it's about the understanding between the partners. One thing about Anil Kapoor was that he felt that he's a self-made man. मैंने बहुत पैसा कमा लिया, बहुत सब ये कर लिया, and he had the habit of forgetting people who helped him when he was nothing. So this was his mentality. उसकी nature ही ऐसी थी that he uses people, they help him, and he conveniently forgets about it. And when he's a big man, he will throw his weight around and keep reminding everybody that I've started from scratch, I'm a self-made man, and all that nonsense. So I think it's to generalize it कि उसने बोला कि I supported you and still he didn't react. It's very situation specific. It's really sad that she had to bring it up and tell him that she supported him. If he had been a little sensitive, he should have valued her contribution all through and supported her through their 30-year journey. He shouldn't have had to say it after so long. Yeah. So the basic respect was missing, I think, in the relationship. That's what I feel.
Let's go to Mr. Mudit ji.
Yes, I'll just put my comments. I'm a man giving a different perspective. So, VP Singh said this once, when he got married, the former PM, he didn't know his wife, but then he got to love her and it became a good marriage, I guess. But many times a love marriage, because you know the person so well, then it's ours. So if you ask me, marriage is all random. And the same issues are worldwide. And a BBC survey said, I think by 2070, the institution of marriage will fade away. As it is, there's more cohabitation. Cohabitation and people are staying together, they're fine. Then they get married, then something else happens and then they divorce. So I really don't know what it is. Is it possessiveness or whatever it is? But it's the most complicated institution. That's what I wanted to say. Thanks. Hello, Shakunji. Hello, Shakunji. Nice to meet you.
Actually, we need a different perspective.
Yeah. May I say something?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
No, it is, as Mudit said, it is a very complicated institution, which today is not really working. See, in the olden days, it was very clearly demarked. The man would work, the woman would be home, the woman would take care of the children, he would provide her with the money and supposedly provide her with respect, like according to even all the rights, where even in a Christian rite, you promise to honor the wife, and in the Hindu rites, at least we go around the fire promising those 7 things. But whether they people keep their promise or not is complicated. It's very, very complicated. So, but one thing I'd like to say, which, I was shocked myself from a person who is considered intelligent and bright, and she was having a chat with me. And you know what she said? She said, Shakun, I don't believe in women getting educated and working. I said, in today's world, I mean, I just said, I don't think I want to even argue here because she's older to me. So I said, I mean, how can today marriages are, failing? What about the woman? Where is she going to stand? I mean, if today the family doesn't want her, the husband is ill-treating her, she needs to be standing on her own feet to take care of her life. And you know what she tells me? I mean, just for you to hear a point of view of a so-called bright, intelligent woman, she tells me, I don't agree with the woman taking away the men's jobs. When she's rich enough. Rich enough, the parents are rich, you are not rich. You go to your parents, they can't help you. And then, I mean, to me, it's such a lopsided way of thinking. I mean, but what do you do with that kind of mindset? I mean, it's a crazy mindset. I just told her, you know what? I really don't want to argue with you, but I don't really agree with you. I smiled and I let it go. It's complicated.
We have to tell them and bring the change, but sometimes it's really stupid to argue to such people who have these kind of mindsets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah. So yeah, on that note, we are on to the end of this session. Thank you everybody for joining in. We'll surely also for next week we'll pick up something lighthearted. I think, yeah. We'll announce it soon. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in and stay safe. We'll meet next week with another fun movie.
Thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Suggestion, before, at least 24 hours before, not at least, let's say not by Thursday, but like by Wednesday. So, one is busy, one doesn't get to a chance to finish the whole movie, if it's possible.
Sure.
Yeah.